Hey, can I get a, yeah, you got a VIP. Hey, you know what's beautiful about these streams? Everyone's a VIP. That's right. That's what's beautiful about these streams. I'm excited, folks. We're here. We are live. Slightly early. I told you guys, I want to do it every day between now and the trade deadline. I'm not fucking around. It helps that we're finally getting some substantial news. I've got some things I want to say about the Jimmy Butler trade saga. I've got some info as well. Well, not really info, just housekeeping stuff. So, the trade deadline predictions. I want to hear y'all's opinion on this as well. We've typically done it in video format. I went back and I looked at the past videos. They're good. But I was thinking to myself, would this be more fun, more interactive, just in a streaming format? What do you guys think? Good morning, ladies. Yes, good morning to all my ladies in the chat. I usually don't shower in the morning, but I had to. My hair was starting to look a little greasy. So I'm thinking Thursday on stream, we do the trade deadline predictions instead of a video. The thing is, the videos take me so fucking long to edit, to make the script for. It's just, kind of preposterous how long it takes. So I figured, you know what? I might just do it on stream that morning and then sort of cut it up. It's a stream thing. I agree. Shower means no hoops today. No, I'm actually hooping later tonight. I couldn't get on stream in my current form. Is a stream not just a live video? Yeah, you are right. But usually, I put some edits and stuff into it, and I might still do that. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. That way you guys can chime in and stuff like that. Yeah, that's where we're at. Daniel, 15 months of the Slightly Delusional Club. Good morning. The locks are looking luscious. Thank you, Daniel. That reminds me. Let's head on over here. With Daniel re-upping for 15 months, that takes a minute off of our scheduled start time, which entering today is 12:12 p.m. Now 12:11 p.m. Central Standard Time on trade deadline day. We're trying to get that number down to 8. I will be reopening the Slightly Delusional shop. If not today, then tomorrow for sure. I'm interested to see what you cooked up. I have one trade I'm excited about, and I even went through the process of hitting up people who create content for that team and be like, "Yeah, what do you think of this? Is this realistic? Is this something you would do?" Which in the past I just threw shit at a wall. I do think I'm gonna have a Mavs trade, actually. I do. Do you think Levine's being traded as he's taking personal time? Him and his significant other, I don't know if he's married or whatever the case may be. But they're having a child, is what I saw. So I wouldn't look too much into that. Congratulations to the Levine family. I wonder who that player will be. Don't get your hopes too high that it's something crazy. Did I just get a Twitter notification? That child will be had in Milwaukee. I love the idea of Zach LaVine to the Bucks. And I've been trying to think about how it could work without it being inside of a Jimmy Butler 3 or 4 team trade. So I took 23andMe and found out you're my mom. I don't think that's right. Can you answer 10 straight? We're about to find out. Which of these teams hasn't won a World Series this century? So in the 2000s, that's the Blue Jays. Giants beat my Texas Rangers. Yankees beat the Phillies. Who did Japanese phenom Roki Sasaki recently sign with? Ruined the fucking league. Signed with the Dodgers. What a joke that is. What an absolute joke. Oh, God. Which of these men's college basketball teams isn't ranked in the AP top 25? Well, Duke is, obviously. Auburn's number 1. I think Bama's ranked fairly high, aren't they? Boston College? Okay, that one ended up being easy. I thought Boston College might have been a little sneak. Who's the first black head coach to reach the FBS college football title game? It's not Marcus Freeman. Not Deion Sanders. James Franklin. I don't know. I don't follow college football whatsoever. James Franklin coaches at Penn State, doesn't he? Wait. Are you serious? He was the first black head coach to coach a college football championship game? I just didn't think that was... Wow. That's a shocking statistic. Well, not really. This conference has 4 teams in the top 10 in men's college basketball top 25 poll. I think the SEC is going crazy this year, right? Yeah. I know A&M's good. I don't know if they're top 10. They lost to Texas this weekend. How many games did the Celtics lose in the 2024 playoffs? Who did Jackie Robinson finish his MLB career with? Los Angeles Dodgers. Right? Started with the Brooklyn Dodgers, but did they move to LA before he retired? Oh, fuck. CC Sabathia finished his career with... Are you shitting me? 230. The hell is that? This player had 200 hits in his first 10 MLB seasons. That's Ichiro. Oh, is this... Did CC make the Hall of Fame? Slightly, you hit Celestial last night. Congratulations, man. I'm kind of hard stuck right now in gold. I'm not going to lie to you. Who's the all-time leader in English Premier goals? Uh-oh. This is where I'm starting to get a little exposed here. Wayne Rooney? Henry. Oh. Yeah. Don't even know who that is. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I couldn't put a face to his name. Well. All right, so Thursday, folks, mark it down, put it in your calendars, make sure you're here. 10:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. That's when we're going to do the trade deadline predictions. And if you do miss it, I'm going to clip it up and I'm going to edit it and make it look nice and I'll post it as a video, okay? So make sure you guys are locked and loaded and ready to go. I've got some trades. I'm working on some more. I do think this is going to be a just straight up off rip. You know what? Let's go. Let's start the recording now. Good morning, folks. It is 10:46 a.m. Central Standard Time, Tuesday, January 28th. As I mentioned yesterday, we are going live every day between now and the trade deadline, which is now only 9 short days away. We do have some actual real substantial reports to go off of. Today. The Jimmy Butler trade thing has reached a very interesting impasse, and I do think that things are about to get very interesting moving forward. I was just saying this on my stream, but every year, in case you don't know, we do a slightly biased trade deadline prediction video. My goal is to get one trade exactly right, or at least as close to possible. I've yet to do it. The closest I got last year, Gordon Hayward, we got that trade so close to being right. And if memory serves me correctly, I don't think there was reporting on that trade before we predicted it. It just felt like a very obvious fit. I wasn't the only one saying it. A lot of Thunder fans were thinking it as well, but I just thought that was an obvious fit. I want to get a trade exactly right this year. The thing is, and I was just saying this on stream, Thursday stream, 10:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, youtube.com/slightlybiased. We will go live, and that will be our trade deadline prediction stream. I'll cook up the trades, all of it, right? I was just about to say on stream before I went live, or before I started recording this for my good friends over at Spotify, that I sort of feel like this has all of the makings. Everything's sort of lining up. It's sort of a perfect storm, this trade deadline, for almost nothing to happen. I know that's not what you want to hear. I know that sounds disappointing. I know we love the dopamine hit of the big trades, but there's the teams that are desperate enough to usually make trades like that, either don't have the pieces, have such undesirable contracts to trade that nobody wants them, or doesn't have trade assets, are stuck in the second apron, whatever the case may be, that it's very difficult for them to make trades. So that becomes a big problem. I think that you have a lot of teams, other teams that are looking like they're gearing up to be, real contenders and real noisemakers. Is what the hell did I just see? We'll talk about this in a second. Real noisemakers in the playoffs. Think about your Oklahoma City Thunder. Think about your Houston Rockets. I think those teams have real incentives to see what they have with their roster before they make big trades. So you might not see them make a move of any real substance. I think some of your older teams, like the Warriors, like the Lakers, are probably coming to grips with the fact that, you know what? I don't know if a move realistically makes us a contender. If there's like a real move out there for us, why would we mortgage our future when we know that this thing's probably close to its end anyways? So it's all just sort of lining up for not a lot of action. Now, you never know. You never know. That's the beauty of the NBA. Guys become available you never thought were available. These things can change so quickly, right? I remember back to the 2023 trade deadline. When the Nets looked like a championship contending team, they were finally getting healthy. They were playing great basketball. Kyrie demands a trade. KD demands a trade. Turns the entire NBA on its head. It's possible. It's possible. So just something to monitor. But I'm cooking up some trades. And I think it's a trade deadline. It's still going to be a ton of fun. There's still going to be moves that are great that we'll spend weeks talking about. There's going to be moves that impact the future of the league. It's just fun. We're also going to spend today going over some trades, going over some news. The Jimmy Butler news is interesting. And some of the games last night. So, to be fair, I think last 2 years you said this trade deadline is going to be so boring. Well, last year's trade deadline was great for the Mavs, but it was all in all like not that crazy of a deadline. Like all of the big moves happened in the lead up to it. James Harden got traded, weeks into the season. OG Anunoby and Siakam got traded months before the deadline. What up, Bacons? What the fuck is this? Florida Sports Buzz. The Miami Heat are positioning themselves to have over $80 million in cap space in 2026 when players like Luka Doncic could potentially become free agents. According to a source, the Heat have also felt they should receive a carrot, likely a draft pick, if it takes a player whose contract runs through next season. Taking on non-All-Stars whose contract run past 25-26 has been a non-starter for Miami, which is positioned to have more than $80 million in cap space that summer. Several All-Stars, including Luka Doncic, are eligible to become free agents that summer. Keep dreaming, Bubba. Miami could trade their entire damn city and they ain't getting Luka. Yeah, keep dreaming. What are you drinking? We've got our Nespresso iced coffee today with a splash of oat milk and a little bit of Chobani sweet cream creamer. Non-dairy, of course. Delicious. Shout out to Nespresso. Shout out to Chobani. I don't know what brand of oat milk I use, but shout out to them. Let's talk about the Jimmy Butler thing because there's really some stuff here. I'd started to wonder who really stands to gain from this saga playing out as long as it has. Because obviously this has reached such a strange point for the Heat. They've suspended Jimmy Butler 3 separate times now. It's reaching the point where it's like, man, let's just move on. Let's either solve this, figure it out, man to man. Hey, what do we need to do to have you come in every day and play and be ready to go? We're not trading you. Let's just make this the next few months as easy as possible. Either that or trading him. Why hasn't it happened? Who stands to gain from that? Which part of this potential trade, which party stands to gain from this drawing out as long as possible? Because in my brain, I've been thinking for the longest, oh, this is he's going to the Miami Heat or the Phoenix Suns. Like, this just feels like an inevitability. Well, the longer this is drawn out, the more I've wondered, maybe this isn't. Maybe the Miami Heat aren't trading him to the Phoenix Suns. The longer this thing has drawn out. Why do I say that? Because why would this not have happened already? What are the Phoenix Suns? The Phoenix Suns aren't in any place to negotiate with anybody. There's no asking price for the Phoenix Suns to say no to or really negotiate out of, right? Is it the Miami Heat negotiating for more? Potentially. Is it a third, fourth team, a facilitating team holding this trade hostage because they know they have all the leverage in this? Probably. But there's reports today, all of a sudden, that a report came out yesterday that Bradley Beal had no interest in waiving his trade clause to go to Chicago, which eliminates the idea of what I thought was probably the most interesting potential Jimmy Butler trade, which was the Bulls take on Bradley Beal's contract, send Zach LaVine to Milwaukee. Milwaukee sends stuff to the Heat. Picks are going to the Bulls, picks to the Heat, and then Jimmy Butler ends up on the Suns. I thought that was really interesting. The Suns obviously get better. The Bucks, I think, get better. The Bulls get picks for their effort, and the Heat get, whatever in return. The Heat are the team here that I think would really get fucked. But now this thing has entered a very weird state. At what point are the Heat diminishing their own returns by stringing the process out instead of just trading them? I think they already know they're getting diminished returns. I think they already know. Here's a Blue Sky. Shout out to Blue Sky. Phoenix Suns guard Bradley Beal will not waive his no-trade clause to go to the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls have been mentioned as one team the Suns could use to facilitate a hypothetical trade for Miami Heat star Jimmy Butler. In this article, it was also mentioned that Bradley Beal has no interest in going to a cold place. No interest in going to a cold place or a losing team. So that immediately makes things very complicated because ideally in any Jimmy Butler trade, Beal's getting rerouted somewhere else. Right? If Beal had no trade clause, this deal has already been done. And Beal's on the fucking, Hornets or some shit. Right? But unfortunately, that's not the case. Beal's holding this trade hostage. And I'm going to just, maybe I'm being reactionary to some of the reports that have come out today. I'm coming out and I'm proclaiming I don't think he ends up on the Suns. I just don't. I think this has reached a weird point where it's become far too complicated. That's where I think we're at. I think we've reached that point where this has become too complicated. Moving Bradley Beal has turned into such a headache. And the Suns, who, when they made their trade for those 3 first-round picks, to me, immediately, my initial reaction was, did this have to do with a potential Beal trade? Maybe. And then once you thought about it, they're using it so they can facilitate trades and trade Beal somewhere else and use their picks to as a sweetener deal for whatever team's taking on Beal's contract. Okay, that makes sense. But I thought immediately that felt like a way for them to maneuver off their bad contracts. Like they could use 1 or 2 of those firsts to get off of Nurkic. Maybe down the line they use a first or 2 of those firsts to get off of Beal if he becomes more receptive to waiving his no-trade clause. But now I'm just not so sure. I don't think it's going to happen. You had Windhorst come on and say, appearing on Tuesday morning episode of SportsCenter, ESPN's Brian Windhorst explained the Heat are really, really trying to get a trade done by dropping their asking price for Butler. The Heat are really, really trying to make this happen, and I know that you could have said that in any time in the last 4 or 5 weeks, but in talking to people who are involved in these talks, I think the Heat's prices have come down. What they're willing to accept in trade has widened, and I think that's going to bring some more teams that we were previously sitting on the sideline to the table. Okay. Maybe I'm misreading that. Obviously, the Phoenix Suns have tried to get this done for weeks. They have tried 3, 4, 5 team machinations. They have not been able to overcome the fact that they've really got to trade. That what they really got to trade is Bradley Beal, who has a no trade clause and not a very big market. And so now I do believe this is going to bring in some other teams. You could see some surprising moves in this little battle in the next couple of days. I'm coming out and I'm saying it right now. Spoiler alert for our trade deadline prediction stream on Thursday. And this could change between now and then. My mind changes constantly. I've already made up one mock trade that I've already scrapped the more I've thought about it. I think he ends up in Memphis. I think that he ends up in Memphis. It makes too much sense. It makes too much sense. The trade package Memphis has, I think, is exactly what Miami wants. Expiring contracts and guys that can help them out right now. And maybe a young, interesting guy tacked onto that trade. I don't know. The Grizzlies have $1 million. Right? Jimmy is exactly what the Grizzlies need. Exactly what the Grizzlies need. This kind of segues me. I was watching the Knicks Grizzlies game last night, and the Knicks fucked the Grizzlies. That was a second half that was embarrassing for Memphis, especially the fourth quarter. They got routed, 143-106. Now, you could look at this and say, oh, the Grizzlies are 31-16, whatever, they lose a game. They were coming off of what is this, a 6-game winning streak. They've been red hot, one of the best teams in the league. I'm saying this right now. Hear me loud and hear me clear. I don't buy a single thing the Memphis Grizzlies are selling. I don't. I've been iffy on it all year long. I don't buy a single thing the Grizzlies are selling, and I'm not just saying that because they just got blown out last night. I don't buy a single thing they're selling when it comes to the playoffs. I don't. I don't whatsoever. They have a losing record against teams that are top 10 in net rating. They are a bottom 10 offense against top 10 defenses. They are a bottom half of the league when it comes to half-court offense. They turn the ball over, I think, the second most in the league. By far the most against teams that consider themselves serious teams. And they give up too many offensive rebounds. I don't buy them. They need somebody like Jimmy Butler, the player, desperately bad. Somebody who in the playoffs, he's been there, he's been in wars, he knows what it takes. The game slows down, he can go get a bucket, he'll go make a play, he'll go draw a foul, he can defend wings. It's exactly what they need. It's exactly what they need. As well as a veteran. They need some toughness, desperately bad. Now, that's Jimmy Butler, the player. Jimmy Butler, the person, becomes an interesting thing in this whole debacle. He's already openly said he doesn't want to go to the Grizzlies. That immediately made me perk up. We talked about this on here. Why the fuck would he say that? Why would they be so adamant about that? I think it's because Jimmy's agent was like, yo, dude, the Grizzlies aren't fucking around. They want you. And it became a big push. Be like, please don't trade for me. Please don't trade for me, Memphis. Please don't trade for me, Memphis. Is he trying to reverse like the Heat? No, I think Jimmy's agent probably found out that the Grizzlies weren't fucking around. They wanted him. And they had to make a media push, to basically force the Grizzlies' hand. This could be the Rondo trade 2.0. Butler doesn't want to go to Memphis because they won't trade him and they won't sign him in the offseason. But here's the thing, though. This could work out as a rental. And I think the price could be so low that it's justifiable for a rental. The Grizzlies could, who already run a very deep rotation and probably need to consolidate. You're not going to play that many guys in the postseason. Let's be serious. They could trade out of their rotation for a rental that'll help him in the playoffs this year. And you know what? If he leaves in the summer, then great. You'll have money. If he picks up his player option, cool. You'll have Jimmy Butler going into next year. If he declines his player option and a team wants to sign and trade for him, cool. You'll get some assets in return. I just think it makes sense. What was the word when Dallas traded for Kyrie? Was he planning to re-sign at all when the move happened? No, he was going to go to free agency, but the extension he could sign was only a 2-year extension, if memory serves correctly. So he wasn't extending no matter what. But it wasn't a, hey, like, I'm not going to re-sign with this team or this team or this team. I think the Mavs had a pretty good idea that they could keep Kyrie. Warriors also make sense. Yes, depending on how low the asking price is, because they say the asking price has been lowered. Yes, the Warriors now make sense. Kevin O'Connor sources, the Warriors are one of several teams back in the mix for Jimmy Butler now that the Heat have lowered their asking price. Still, what would that look like financially? That's the question. Paul is gifted 5 members. Shout out to you, Paul. Salute. But this is where I'm at. I love it for the Grizzlies. I really do. And I think their trade package works. I think their trade package works. It just depends. They're not like the Rockets where, yeah, if you're Houston, I mean, this has been, there's no way you could have expected this. You know, there's no way you could have expected your team to be this good. We predicted them to finish top 6 in the West. I thought they would improve. I thought that they would be a good basketball team this year. Very tough. I did not think they would look the way that they looked. They looked like a serious, real, legitimate contender, straight up. And they need to, if you're Houston, it makes a lot of sense to just, hey, let's go into the playoffs with these guys and let's see what we really got. You know, we're already kind of ahead of schedule. Let's see who we can trust in a playoff setting and who we maybe need to consider upgrading, whatever the case may be. If you're the Grizzlies, this will be your 3rd time in the last 4 years that you finished top 3 in the West. How many playoff wins do you have to show for? Like, you're kind of past that point. And I don't. What's their ceiling in the postseason currently? They're not a good half-court offense whatsoever. They turn the ball over too much. Ja Morant has really, really looked not like Ja Morant over the past couple of weeks. Desmond Bane has struggled at times this season. They need another guy. Is there any team in the East who you can see Jimmy going to? I wouldn't sleep on Milwaukee coming back into this mix here. But other than that, how do you know Jimmy isn't going to keep acting like this? He has at every other stop. That's the big concern. Is you're upset because Miami doesn't want to extend you, whatever the case may be. If I'm the Grizzlies, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna call your bluff. Who's to say he's like, you know what? I'm not even gonna play for you. I don't know. I don't think there's any other Eastern Conference teams that make sense for Jimmy. Just looking at him. Yeah. None. Unless a team like Atlanta or something gets real frisky. He's going to not be playing for a while if he does that. Yeah, I think the Grizzlies would call his bluff. I don't think the Magic are a destination that makes any sense whatsoever. Is Jimmy the biggest diva in the NBA? Yeah, he's up there for sure. Jimmy for KP and Drew. Jimmy on the Celtics would be hilarious. The Suns have been cited as Butler's preferred destination, which likely means any deal would have to involve at least 3 teams because Phoenix doesn't have the draft capital or ability to do a 1-for-1 trade unless Bradley Beal waives his no-trade clause. Given how toxic things appear to have gotten between Butler and the Heat, it's probably in the team's best interest to simply move on and take whatever they can get. By doing this, doesn't Jimmy kill all chances of ever getting a max from anyone ever again? So there's a reason why he's pushed so hard to go to the Suns. I think there's kind of an understanding between him, his agent, and the Suns. They probably have had, they probably had talks that, hey, we'll extend you. We're desperate enough. This is our window. Our window is currently right this second. But outside of that, if I'm the Heat, I'm not just sending him to the Suns out of pettiness. Well, I'm not doing a 1-for-1 trade with the Suns. Hey, Bradley Beal will waive his no trade clause to go to the Heat. Great. If I'm Miami, cool. I don't give a fuck. I don't want him. It's funny that Kyrie was basically damaged goods for doing the same stuff, but Jimmy has done it 3 teams now and everybody still wants him. And the Jimmy stuff, I think the Instagram stuff, God, I think it's so lame. I'd be so mad if I were a Heat fan right now. I'd be so mad. The Suns still have a window. The Suns are playing good basketball lately, and if they were to make a trade for Jimmy, they do become a pretty interesting team.
Discussions with the league, and I want to be real careful. I am not saying this is for sure going to happen. I am not predicting what's going to happen. But I do think some teams that thought they were out of this are coming back in because it doesn't look like the Suns and Heat are going to be able to consummate a deal. I think we might see a team swoop in here and get Jimmy Butler at a cheap price, a guy who can be the best player in a playoff series at a bargain price. And I think that's the phase of this where we're at. And so if a team pulls that off, and I'm not going to tell you the teams that are trying because I can't wade into those waters. This could be a trade that affects the outcome of this season. So definitely a very interesting next 2, 3, 4 days here.
Wendy looks kind of good. I think he's losing some weight. I'm being serious. Clippers, please. What the hell would that even look like? NBA media, Jimmy Harden. Haha, this is so fun. This makes the NBA great. Kyrie locker room cancer. Can't win with this guy. He should just retire. Yeah, I mean, Kyrie did some stuff towards the end of his stint with the Nets that interpret it however you want to interpret it. It went a little beyond this. Jimmy Butler to the Warriors does nothing for them. I wouldn't say nothing. I would not say nothing. Jimmy for Embiid. This guy's got me thinking now. Clippers, please. What is it, Clippers? Is that even possible? I hadn't even thought about that. PJ Tucker. It feels like they'd have a hard time getting to that number, huh? I think I remember because I was thinking, what would Brandon Ingram to the Clippers trade look like? I think for any contract like that, it would have to be like Zubats. I just don't see it. The Pistons seem like the ideal spot. I'm telling you guys, Grizzlies just make it everything aligns. Fits a need for them badly, and their trade package is almost, they can make the contracts work very easily, and it's almost exactly what Miami wants. Do you see the Heat want to open up cap space for 2028? Yes, I did. Good for them. So anyways, this has taken an interesting turn because it had just kind of felt like a foregone conclusion that he was going to Phoenix. But Beal, because I guess in my brain, the way these things, it feels like usually work out, Beal would waive his no trade clause. Beal would just do it. But it sounds like Beal's not going for that shit. And no one wants him. I think we really underestimated the fact that nobody is going to want Beal And the price it would cost to just unload Beal, mixed with also getting a good player in return in Jimmy Butler, it doesn't make sense at all. The Suns don't have the pieces. That was the thing I was always confused about in these trades. It's like, so the Suns are getting off of one of the shittiest, if not the shittiest contract in the league, also getting a good player, an upgrade player in Jimmy Butler. I like, how the fuck does that work? It just feels like this is a constant, nonstop. The Suns are just falling ass backwards into good trades. I hope Bill just says, fuck you, Phoenix. That Beal contract is just shocking, honestly. Man, what a terrible why on earth did the Suns do that? Everyone knew everyone knew that trade was a disaster the moment it happened. Jesus, man. Jesus. I don't think there's a team where Jimmy gets traded to and makes real impact on the league at this point. He would make the Suns much more interesting. I do think the Rockets wouldn't do this because it would affect their timeline and you're just messing with a bunch of other stuff. But Jimmy on the Rockets is very interesting. Jimmy on the Warriors, does that realistically make them a contender? But there's some team. I think Jimmy on the Grizzlies makes them much more interesting. I would kill to know what book KD really thought when they saw the news. The Beal news? I mean, isn't that their guy? They're probably happy. Mavs are so right to pass on Ayton. Were those substantial ever? I wonder if Houston will just ride it out. Oh, I think Houston's going to ride it out. I do. It makes sense, too. It makes sense. Maybe they make some trades along the margins. But at that stage, it does make sense to see what you have in the playoffs before you make big trades. You're ahead of schedule. You're already playing with house money. If you finish as a top 3 seed in the West, who the fuck could have expected that? Now you can see, oh, okay, Şengün, playoff player. Jalen Green, that would be a big test for him. A guy like Jabari Smith, that would be a big test for him. If I'm Houston, I go all in on Fox. Yeah, I mean, that would be a great move for them, but I don't think that's something that happens this year. Or this season. Maybe in the summer. Who are they going to bench for him in? Someone. He's starting the rest of the way. Mark my words, Booker to the Rockets in the offseason. I could see that too. That Booker, this is why me and Nick were talking about this on Locked On. Just thinking about, I guess we could segue this a little bit. Thinking about the Washington Wizards, who, my God, are so bad. Like, it's so bad. The worst situation in the league, I think. You could look at like the Suns, look at how they just have no draft capital moving forward. They're tied to older guys. Their roster is so expensive, but at least the Suns have an out. They could trade Kevin Durant for a bunch of picks. They could trade Devin Booker for a bunch of picks if they wanted to, right? If they needed to, if they were really rebuilding and tearing it down. What do the Wizards have, man? What do the Wizards have? What up, Swayze? Washington might get Cooper Flag. Even if they get Cooper Flag, though. Even if they get him. I think it's going to be difficult to build around him. Kuzma's ass, I think, got every day for him passing on us. Alex Sarr has shown some flashes for sure. Bilal has shown flashes here and there. Don't know if any of those guys are like going to end up being cornerstone, face of your franchise players. Probably more very solid contributing players, which you can project that out, and that's great. Those are valuable players. But they probably need two legit stars to like really kind of take a leap. They do have the pick swaps with the Suns. 25, 27, 29 pick swaps with Phoenix. They're not going to swap 25. At this rate, I would be pretty shocked if they swap 27. And then what other first round picks do they have? Washington Wizards future picks. I mean, they're not like some of these other bad teams that just have a treasure trove of draft assets. So in 2025, dude, this website's bad. Why do they have a first round pick going to the Knicks? Technically, the Knicks own the Wizards' first round pick this year, but it's top 1 through 10 protected. 1 through 10 protected in 2025, 1 through 8 in 2026. If Washington has not conveyed a first round pick to New York by 2026, and Washington wants to convey its 26, 27 second round picks. All right, so that pick's not happening. Where'd that come from? What trade was that for? Why did the Knicks have their pick? Was that a trade up in the draft, maybe? The best way to develop a young team in today's NBA seems like to have a stern defensive coach at the helm. Yeah, I mean, for sure. But just look at their trade assets. So they have their own pick in 2026. Phoenix pick swap. Then they have their own pick in 2027. That's it. Their own pick in 2028. Again, Phoenix, Brooklyn, or Philly pick swap. Look at how confusing these fucking protections are. If Philly's 2028 first round pick, which would be protected for selections 1 through 8, and otherwise conveyable to Brooklyn if Philly does not convey a first round pick to Brooklyn in 2027. If Philly has conveyed a first round pick to OKC by 2026, is conveyed to Brooklyn and is the third most favorable of Philly, Brooklyn's 2028 first round picks, Phoenix 2028 first round pick, and New York Knicks 2028 first round pick. And New York Knicks is the most or second most favorable of the four. Then Brooklyn will receive the most and third most favorable of the four. In all other scenarios, Brooklyn will receive the two most favorable of these. If fuck you, Phoenix. Seriously. Fuck you. What am I reading? What the hell am I reading? Partho with the $4.99. I squint my eyes at Amin Thompson. I see a kid from Akron. He gets a skill trainer that isn't brain dead, and that's an MVP candidate. I think the best comp I've seen is a locked-in Ben Simmons. That really is. A locked-in Ben Simmons. Damn, he's good, bro. Damn. Suns got 3 pick swaps tied to 3 different teams. Such an annoying ass team. 2029 first round pick. 2029 first round pick their own. 2029 Boston, Milwaukee, or Portland. So a pick swap there for Boston, Milwaukee, or Portland's pick. 2030 first round pick. 2030 Golden State first round pick. That's projected 1 through 20. Phoenix swap rights. So it's not even like they have a treasure trove of assets. Their best trade assets that aren't their own right now are pick swaps. And then a very heavily protected Golden State Warriors pick. That's just such a sad situation to be in. Because guess what? You're not getting anything of real value for Kyle Kuzma at this juncture. You're not getting anything of real value for Jordan Poole at this juncture. You're not getting anything of real value for Jonas Valanciunas, maybe some seconds. You're not getting like a super valuable first round pick. It's just a strange spot to be in. Yeah, but they'll constantly be picking top 5. That's more important than all the picks. Yeah. It'd be nice to have a little bit more trade assets to show for all of this shit. Like if you're a rebuilding team in today's NBA, look at all the other rebuilding teams in today's NBA. They all have treasure trove assets. They all have a fucking treasure chest of picks. I don't think they can get anything from Poole. Jordan Poole's been really good this year. Shout out to him. Really nice rebound season for him. $30 million this year, 31 the year after that, 34 the year after that. I doubt there's too many teams lining up for that. Maybe next year, maybe next year, if he continues this play throughout the remainder of the season and plays really well next year as well, then maybe a team looks at him and says, oh, a year and a half of Jordan Poole, like we need a guard. Somebody who can fill it up. Yeah. But I feel bad. I mean, the Wizards are terrible, man. Like last night's game against the Mavs, that was a 20-point game the moment the game started. I'm hardly joking. When did the Mavs get it to a 20-point lead? It felt almost immediate, and it was the entire game. The Mavs had a 20-point advantage with 5 minutes left in the first quarter, and I think it was that way the rest of the game. Like that wasn't this isn't a competitive basketball team at all. It's just it sucks. It sucks for them. It really just kind of sucks for your team plays them, and it's great. We get to see Klay Thompson shoots 10 threes in the first fucking quarter. Like, that's what it's become. It's like, hey, we're playing the Wizards tonight. Klay, you're going to shoot 10 threes in the first quarter. Like, we're going to test some shit out. It's just, it's kind of sad, honestly. The Wiz can trade for any unwanted player on the market and pair him with a top prospect in this draft. That should be what they do. They should be a team that's just like, guys, any of your dog shit contracts, please give us a call. Please give us a call. Any of your dog shit contracts we will happily take for picks. Please ring the phone. We would love to answer. I think about how insane it is that the Oklahoma City Thunder have the Philadelphia 76ers pick. And you think about it, when that trade gets made, when was that? 2020, around then. When that trade gets made, you're getting rid of Al Horford's contract. The Sixers, you kind of project them. Oh, Embiid will be 31. Like, that team's going to be really good. It's probably going to be a shitty pick. But, we'll take it. A lot of things can happen in the NBA. Now, all of a sudden, the Sixers are the Sixers. And the Thunder have a very good chance to get like the 7th or 8th pick in this upcoming draft. You never know. Which I guess is those Suns pick swaps are pretty valuable. Because you look at their situation. Horford would have been great in OKC last playoffs, ironically. Yeah. They never traded for him though to play for them. They have no reason to keep middling. Well, to be fair, they're not middling. Oh, you're talking about the Sixers. Yeah, the Sixers are just a nightmare. Nightmare situation currently. But how much money does Washington even have money to fuck around with? Washington's actually one of the most expensive rosters in the league. Their cap allocations is more expensive than Golden State. Oh my God, I forgot about I completely forgot about Malcolm Brogdon. $22 million. What does it look like next year though? Because Brogdon's expiring, isn't he? Let's look, multi-year. You've got Jordan Poole, $31 million next year. That ain't great. Kuzma, 21 next year. That contract at least goes down. That's not a horrible deal. Brogdon's a free agent. Bagley's a free agent. Forgot about him as well. Rashawn Holmes, 13 mil. They got a good amount of salary coming off the books for sure. I'm going to be honest with you guys. You guys are asking me if Wizards players are playing well. I'm just going to be straight up honest. I don't know. I do not know. I have no clue. Brogdon's hurt, isn't he? Yeah, Brogdon hasn't played since January 5th. Brogdon lives hurt. Yeah, I honestly totally forgot about Malcolm Brogdon as a player in this league. What a weird couple years for him, huh? Wins 6th Man of the Year with the Celtics. Is part of the Drew trade. Plays on the dog shit Portland Trailblazers team. 39 games. Then gets traded in the Deni Avdija trade to the Wizards. Plays on the dog shit Wizards team. What a very interesting guy. Anyway, a nice win for the Mavs. I mean, there's nothing else you could really say. I don't know what you take away from games like this. That is kind of what sucks. The Wizards are a nice get-right game. You circle them on the calendar. It's probably going to be a guaranteed win. You're going to see some guys play, some extended minutes, some more end-of-bench guys. But it's not good basketball. It's not very fun. Kyler Kelly gets 8 minutes. The Mavs' new two-way addition. 4 rebounds, a point, 8 minutes. Thought he looked like a two-way player. I don't expect really anything out of him. If I'm just being honest, I don't expect anything out of him whatsoever. Looked slow, looked a little stiff. God bless him. I'm rooting for him. I don't think he's a player who's going to make an impact for the Mavs, to be honest with you. But Omax continues to play well. That is encouraging. Gafford continues his great stretch of basketball. That is encouraging. I think the Mavs are coming out their funk. I do. I just kind of sense it. I sense it in the vibes. It's nothing really performance-wise. You guys know I'm a big vibes guy. I think it matters. The vibes are shifting a little bit. They're 3-3 in their last 6 games, which I know that's 3-3. We're bragging about that. With the way that this team looked at times to start of the month, yes, we're fucking bragging about going 3-3. That's kind of what we expected anyways out of this team, was to just kind of be around a 500 basketball team with Luka out, then turn it on whenever he comes back. But starting to feel a little vibe shift. They've been playing much better lately. They've been competitive throughout this whole stretch. And I think Luka's right around the corner. Right around the corner. And then a trade deadline that's 9 days away for a team that has historically been very, very aggressive, making moves in the middle of the season. I don't know if they do or not. I think this year is different than years past for them. I think the market doesn't necessarily look great for them. You look around at the guys available, potentially available. How did Clay only have 1 made 3 after the first? He missed a few and then just barely played. I mean, he was on a minute restriction. That's that. So we'll see. Clarkson? No, I really doubt they go after a guard. Mavs strength of schedule, I believe, is 10th the rest of the way, if that's what you're asking. I know the Suns have the toughest schedule moving forward. The Grizzlies have the second toughest schedule moving forward. Mavs are, I think, 10th, which isn't a shock. I think most Western Conference teams are pretty much going to dominate the top 10 of that list. The one guy is BI. I'd love if we could get him. Don't see it. How is it still that hard with no OKC, Cleveland, or Boston after next week? Well, you still have those teams in factored in. And, you still play the Western Conference. Let's look at their schedule moving forward. You're still playing the Grizzlies. You're still playing the Rockets a couple times, I think. No, just once for the Rockets, once for the Grizzlies. Yeah, I don't know. Report just came in saying Pell's shopping everyone. Really? Report from who? I have a somewhat big Pelicans trade. I'll just say that I really love. I really love it, and it involves an Eastern Conference team that I really enjoy. Very interesting combination that mimics a little tiny bit what the Mavs did a couple of years ago. Just something to think about. Do you think the Pels blow it up? I mean, they're going to try to move Brandon Ingram. Try to think of a Brandon Ingram trade. Just try to think of one. It's really difficult. $40 million. Think about how difficult it is to find a partner for Jimmy Butler. Did I see Katie shit talk the Wizards when he said, nothing, there's no pressure against you guys? Something like that. Yeah, that was pretty fucked up. Hilarious, but fucked up. He's going to end up on a team that has no picks and is desperate. No, it's not that there's not people interested in trading for him or whatever the case may be. It's more so the finding contracts to match that. That's what's interesting. That's the difficult part. Okay, I think I have a package that I have to sign for. So I'm going to take a tiny break here on the stream, but I'll be right back in like 2 minutes. Okay, hold on. What the fuck just happened? What are you guys laughing about? Fuck yourself. Actually fuck yourself. That's messed up, man. That is not right. That is messed up to do this close to the trade deadline. That is messed up. Who is the perpetrator of this? Who's the ringleader? Huh? Unbelievable. That really got me. I'm not going to lie to you. That really got me. The beauty of editing is that Spotify knows that I'm didn't even know I was gone. Squiggly, 26 months. We are just quirky, manic, pixie dream girls. You guys are real quirked up today. That was good. That was good. I got to give it to you guys. That was impressive. In case you're listening to this on Spotify, don't know what I'm talking about. I had to go sign for a package. My chat decided to be hilarious to spam LOL, going crazy as if something big happened, and then I immediately thought a trade went down. And I'm not gonna lie, I saw somebody tweet or saw somebody say Zion believes it, and I did think for a second, oh my god, the Mavs actually trade for Zion. Unbelievable. Actually, pretty believable. Pretty believable, all things considered. Okay, let's try to recoup here. Let's regroup, guys. Come on. I wanted to read this article here. It's a long one, but we like some of the longer articles. Let's actually real quick go over the games last night because there's some crazy ones. A lot of like big matchups against good teams. Like the Wizards and Mavericks, great matchup there. Lakers and did I just get a Twitter notification? My phone just ringed. Lakers and Hornets. Lakers beat the Hornets. Pistons, Cavs. Pistons get blown out. Don't worry. Help might be coming, Pistons. Help might be coming. The Rockets, and yeah, I did see LaMelo tweaked his ankle. Unbelievable. That one was kind of freakish. Backpedaling after making a three sucks. This Rockets-Celtics game was unbelievable. Unbelievable. Man, the Rockets. How serious do we take them? I think we all had kind of put them on the outside of that like real inner circle group just because they're young. We haven't seen them before. But man, the way they play defense, their athleticism, is there a team as athletic as them in the league? They fly around the court. Amin Thompson is a fucking beast. You cannot overlook experience in the playoffs. That's true. You can't. I mean, they do have Fred VanVleet's won a finals. So they've got him. They've got guys on the roster. Now, like Dylan Brooks has been in a playoff series. Steven Adams obviously has been in a playoff series. None of those guys are like your main guys who at this point you would say Şengün. You would 100% say Amin Thompson. And you would still say Jalen Green. Garbage half-court offense. I'm not moved. Could definitely see problems for them coming in the playoffs, but man, their defense will play. I'll tell you that much. I'll tell you one thing. Their defense will play in the playoffs. Kings beat the Nets by a lot. What's up? What are the Nets? They're 14-33 now, but what have they looked like recently? Yeah. Okay. Jeez, this is what bottoming out looks like, folks. That when they were starting to start the season, it was like, man, they're winning too many games. Like they might not be able to bottom out hard enough with all the games they're winning. Oh, they said, don't worry. Don't you worry about us. We'll bottom out all right. $40 for Jalen Wilson. Love that. Magic Heat double overtime thriller. Really nice win for the Heat, who the big story after the game. Khalil Ware obviously has been playing great, but the lineup they closed with featuring Bam, Khalil Ware, and Jovic, which they haven't gotten to at all this season. Played great. Ton of size. Ton of size. What do you think about a Kogi for Dallas? Yeah. Bam Adebayo played great. Tyler Hero, 30 points, 8 rebounds, 12 assists. He definitely has an all-star case. Knicks blow out the Grizzlies. I talked about that one a little bit. Pelicans lose again. Bulls beat the Nuggets. The Nuggets have now lost 2 in a row. Kind of a funny. The funny thing is about this Nuggets team is their vibes are all over the fucking map. So we follow any Nuggets people on Twitter. Just a few days ago, hey, they're back. They're the second best team in the West. You know, they're real contenders. They're figuring it out. They lose 2 in a row, get their asses handed to them by the Timberwolves, lose to the Bulls. It's over. It's done with. We're cooked. Jamal Murray sucks. Michael Porter Jr. is a nothing. Timberwolves beat the Hawks as a horn falls from the Jumbotron and nearly kills somebody. Bucks beat the Jazz, and the Suns continue their hot stretch. Beat the Clippers 111-109. D-Book looked really impressive last night. And shout out to Plum Dog Millionaire. He played really good. This was a rough one for Nick Richards, who's played well. He just Dave had a 2020 game against the Wizards. Nothing that happens against the Wizards means anything at all. I'm just telling you that right now. I like Nick Richards on this team. I worry about him against real good teams. Crazy the Suns are ahead of us in the standings. Well, they've been playing good basketball lately. They do have a very tough schedule, the toughest schedule in the league moving forward. But 5-1 in their last 6, only lost to the Cavs. But yeah, the schedule does ramp up pretty significantly. All right, let's look at this article here. Nick Richards is a poor man's Gafford, good versus bad teams, unplayable versus elite teams. He's better than their other options currently, but it's not saying a lot. Here we go. NBA trade deadline tiers, deal scenarios, outlooks for all 30 teams. This is from Bobby Marks, cap expert. It's one thing you got to know about Bobby Marks. You know the trades are legal. You know the trades are legal. Tier 1, the true deal makers, the Brooklyn Nets have already made two trades so far this season. Cam Johnson, is he going to get traded? I've seen some reports that are like GMs or people across the league think it's a foregone conclusion he's going to get traded. If that's true, that's big. I mean, that's a big trade. Brooklyn's trade to regain its 2025 and 2026 first-round picks from Houston and the trade to send Mikal Bridges to New York set the stage for how Marks would conduct business this season. Yeah, think if they never did that trade. Think if they never traded back for their own first-round pick. Do you think we make a trade or stand pat? The Mavs? I waver back and forth. I was about, on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident I am the Mavericks make a trade. A few weeks ago, I'd have told you 2. Like, I would have said, I don't think they do anything. I'm now moving to 5 or 6. 50-50. One trade that works. Brooklyn gets Cole Anthony, Gary Harris, a first-round pick, and a swap for Cam Johnson and Keon Johnson. Interesting. Never really thought about Cam Johnson on the Magic. The Johnson twins, that's right. Never thought about that. That's kind of interesting. It feels like a kind of a low return, huh? A protected first-round pick and a first-round pick swap that's protected. The Pistons, keep an eye on cap space. Yeah, the Pistons have $14 million in cap space. So they can take on contracts and be a facilitator, get picks in return for using their cap space for teams that want to dump players. I kind of hope they're aggressive, though, to be honest with you. Like Detroit receives Jabari Walker. Portland gets Wendell Moore in a second. In Detroit, wait, what? What is this? Detroit gets Kevon Looney in cash considerations. Golden State receives 2031 second. I hope they're more aggressive than that. I really do. Jabari Walker and Kevon Looney. I hope they're more aggressive than that. These are the type of trades I'm expecting this trade deadline, though, by the way. Just being honest with you. This is it right here. Oh, he's going for it. I didn't even see this. I honest to God did not see this before I said I think Jimmy ends up on the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies get Jimmy Butler, and this is why I think this happens. Look at the return. Marcus Smart, Brandon Clark, John Conchar in a first. Is that not exactly what Miami wants? Players who could probably help you right now, but are not on any long-term salary at all. I like it a lot. I'm telling you. Sally, can we see your cat, please? I don't know where he is. Whenever I stream, he does not come out. I don't know what it is. The Butler saga. Wow, he's really going for it. Memphis getting him. Miami receives Marcus Smart, Brandon Clark, John Conchar in a first. Oh, this is the same exact trade. It makes a lot of sense, guys. He is a little camera shy. It's a little strange how much sense it makes. Does your cat disappear when you game too? No. He posts up when I game. I don't know what it is. Like if I'm sitting over here and I'm not streaming, he'll come by. He'll hang out. Okay, what's going on with my fucking green screen? He'll come by and he'll hang out. If I'm streaming, though, it's a no-go. I don't really get it. Jimmy's not going back to Mini? No. Hell no. Although it's a very different organization now than it was when he left. New Orleans Pelicans keep an eye on luxury tax and Brandon Ingram. Okay, the Pelicans are going to make a major trade. The statement is not a reaction to their disappointing season, but the business of basketball reality. New Orleans is not making playoffs and is $1.4 million over the luxury tax. I've seen reports that Jordan Hawkins might be a guy who's available. You didn't declaw him, right? He was declawed when we got him. But yeah, Jordan Hawkins is somebody who could be moved. The only problem is he's been really shitty this year, to the point where I don't know what he is as an NBA player. However, they could just dump a couple of these guys to get under that mix. Let's see if they have a potential Ingram. If they have a potential Ingram trade here. San Antonio gets Brandon Ingram, Sir Keldon Johnson, Zach Collins in a couple of seconds. Okay, that's kind of interesting. The Spurs now find themselves in an interesting predicament where they could still most certainly make the play-in tournament in the Western Conference, but they'd really kind of have to make a push and would probably have to upgrade their roster at the trade deadline. 2 seconds. I think that's probably what you're going to see. Like, I don't think Brandon Ingram's getting much of a return at all. And I'd actually be a little surprised if Brandon Ingram gets traded, to be honest with you. But a team like the Grizzlies absolutely, or the Spurs, does kind of make some sense. I don't know if the play-in tournament's in the cards for them. You'd have to bank on one of these teams completely falling off the map. I just don't know if I see it. But do they bring in Brandon Ingram and say, "Hey, we'll re-sign you. We kind of like it for us"? I don't know. The Phoenix Suns. Keep it on. First-round picks acquired from Utah: Yusuf Nurkic, Bradley Beal, and Grayson Allen. So I'm interested to see if he has a Nurkic getting traded along with that first-round pick for a player that could actually help them out right now. That's kind of where we're at. I'm trying to think. Torrey Craig gets traded back to the Suns. He got traded to the Suns 2 years in a row at the deadline. Maybe we make it another year. I don't think that works contractually, though. Nurkic is at 18 mil. Is there a team out there that will take that money in a first to give up a decently good player? Phoenix receives PJ Tucker and Bones Highland. The Clippers receive Yusuf Nurkic in a first. Interesting. Phoenix receives Gary Harris, Corey Joseph, and a 2025 first for Grayson Allen and Monte Morris. That's kind of interesting. The Suns continue to replenish their draft stock. I don't get why they would trade Grayson Allen either, to be honest with you. No, I think Grayson Allen on the Magic actually makes some sense. PJ Tucker, Bones Highland for Nurkic in a first. My God, that would be such a gross trade. That would be such a disgusting trade. Yeah, this is a cap-saving maneuver here. These are cap-saving moves. The Kings, I think, could make a big trade. They seem the most motivated to go after Cam Johnson based off of the reporting. I wonder if that's who they have here. Yeah, Cam Johnson to the Kings for Kevin Huerter, Devin Carter, and a 2027 protected first-round pick. Cam Johnson kind of fits what they need a little bit, for sure. I think the Nets would say yes to this. You get a first-round pick down the line, interesting young player in Devin Carter, Kevin Huerter, whatever. Maybe we can flip later. What the fuck happened to Huerter? He was really ass. Look at his stats. Yeah, no, he's just not shooting well. The wild cards. Off topic, but revisiting 2023 draft. Why didn't Portland just take Amen Thompson instead of Scoot Henderson? I mean, Scoot was the consensus second best guy in the draft. Yeah, you had some people, and they're all taking victory laps as they should, who are like, hey, Amen Thompson is the second best player in this draft. That wasn't like an unpopular take, but Scoot was always going to go number 2. Kings are not trading Devin Carter. I think for Cam Johnson, it's possible. Atlanta Hawks keep an eye on GM Landry Fields. Let's see a trade that works. Trade Jones straight up for Larry Nance. The addition of Jones improves they need a backup guard bad. This would be interesting. The addition of Jones improves an Atlanta team that ranks 25th in turnovers and has allowed the 5th most points off turnovers per game. Would the Spurs do that? Can Brooklyn get Keegan Murray and Devin Carter in a Cam Johnson trade? No. No way. The Bulls. I like the idea of the Bucks trading for Zach LaVine. I wonder if they have that in here. I do like the idea of it. I think there's ways that it could work out. Have the trade to LA rumors died down? Oh yeah, I haven't heard anything about that in a while. Golden State gets Vucevic and Torrey Craig for Dennis Schroeder. See you. Thanks for coming, Dennis. Kevon Looney in the 2025 protected first. I actually like this for the Warriors. I know that they're pretty steadfast on not giving up a first round pick in a trade like this for Vucevic, but I like the idea of Steph playing next to a center who can stretch the floor a little bit in Vucevic. I mean, Torrey Craig is somebody who could play rotation minutes for you, I think. And Schroeder just hasn't been very good. And if this is a top 14 protected first, you protect yourself if you miss the playoffs. When Luka comes back, Spencer going to play a whole lot better, so they really don't need Exum. I was kind of thinking if an Exum trade could happen. Just for like a salary maneuver to get the Mavs further away from that. They're $500,000 away, I think, from the apron. To get them further away from that number in trades to make other trades make sense. What value does Exum have to anyone other than the Mavs, though? I mean, they could trade him to a team that just needs a backup guard with nothing in return. I was thinking about that. Chris, okay, so here it is. Milwaukee's actively. I promise you guys I did not read this article. Chicago gets Chris Middleton, Bobby Portis, and a 2031 first. Chicago is where Bobby Portis punched what was that guy's name? What was his name? Mirotic in the face, right? Was that in Chicago when that all happened? Does Chicago want Chris Middleton and Bobby Portis? Mirotic. Toronto gets Beauchamp, cash considerations. Houston gets DeLon Wright and cash considerations. I would love that for the Bucks. I really would. I know it's scary trading that 2031 first, but Zach LaVine is just like this influx of young, athletic talent. Not like super young, but makes your roster younger, makes them faster, makes them more explosive. I do like that. If I'm Chicago, I'm immediately seeing if a team wants Chris Middleton. What about Middleton in a reroute to the Grizzlies? I'm trying to think. Like the Grizzlies, I think they need another scorer. A wing scorer would be really helpful for them. Just someone else who can go get a bucket, and preferably somebody who's done it before. If they swing and miss on Jimmy, is there like a Chris Middleton trade that could kind of make sense? It'd be much cheaper. I don't know. That's just literally a thought that I just popped into my head. I haven't thought too much about it. Mavericks, keep an eye on first round draft capital. Let's see what they got for the Mavs. Trying to think if I had to predict it. Could this be a... Man, I really don't know. Like there's just not a lot that pops in my brain. Could this be a... Please don't be a Kyle Kuzma trade. Could this be a Matisse Thybulle maybe? Oh, wow. New Orleans receives Dante X from cash considerations. The Mavs get Javonte Green. I mean, I'm telling you guys, this is about what I'm expecting. This is about what I'm expecting here. I'm telling you, I don't think it's gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be a crazy trade deadline, man. It's not what you want to hear. Use the soundboard, boo. The Pacers are really interesting. It's really hard to think of a Pacers trade. They have so many guys. Their rotation's very deep. They've been playing really well lately. Do they consolidate some of these guys to cut down the rotation a little bit? I mean, Jarris Walker's playing 9 minutes a game. Do they do that? Or do they just let it ride with these guys and deal with it in the offseason? Which is probably going to be what they end up doing. Let's see what they have a mock trade. Indiana receives Rui Hachimura. Oh, wow. Pacers fans, look away. They're doing the Miles Turner to the Lakers trade. Oh, they're doing a Miles Turner to the Lakers trade. That's hilarious. What up, Brett? Dude, they've said Miles might leave every year for the last 8 years, man. I'm just not buying it. Rui Hachimura in a 2029 first-round pick. The Lakers get Miles Turner. The Raptors get Jalen Hood-Schifino in a 2029 second. Doesn't that just fuck you so badly for the rest of the season? Like, they're playing well. You would almost be basically punting on the season. Unless they just think, yeah, we don't think we have a team this year, which would be surprising to me. Warriors. We've already seen them in this article have a Vucevic trade. And I wonder if they're just going to keep that. I know Miles can walk, but who has money this offseason? Is this just the Vucevic trade again? One trade that works, Kevon Looney to Detroit. Yeah, we've already seen these. This feels like it could happen. Something like this. Kevon Looney, trading him and getting nothing in return puts them under the tax. The Lakers keep an eye on first-round picks, and Christian Wood returns to the Mavs. They've got the Miles Turner trade. The Knicks, yeah, let's see what they've got. Let's see what they got for the Knicks. The Knicks are an interesting one. Bench depth and Mitchell Robinson. I'm standing on the belief that, are you going to find somebody realistically at the trade deadline who gives you a higher ceiling than Mitchell Robinson? Yes, Mitchell Robinson's rarely ever on the court, and you can't rely on him to play and be healthy, but you're already taking a risk when you trade for guys. Why not just take a risk internally? Let's see what they've got. Oh, Yabusele for Jericho Sims. That would be kind of interesting, actually. Yabusele for Sims, a first-round pick and a second. Is Yabusele really going to get traded? I have no idea what the Sixers are going to do. Magic, they already had a Cam Johnson trade on here and a Grayson Allen trade for Orlando. Cole Anthony, a first and a second. Would the Suns do that? I know the Suns would get a first round pick in return for this. So they keep trying to replenish their assets a little bit. Doesn't that make them more like, doesn't that make them significantly worse though? Suns have until 5 p.m. to decide if they're going to tank this season. They're not tanking this season. The Suns. Why would they do that? Portland Trailblazers. Let's see if they have a Duop Reith or Jabari Walker trade. Jock Landale gets Portland. I've seen this tossed around. Now, I have heard, I was listening to this this clip from a Trailblazers radio show, I think, that was going around, that said, and this could just be posturing, but that the Trailblazers are not trading Robert Williams unless they get blown away in a trade, like first round pick, plural. And I was like, okay, you're not getting, like, that's fucking ridiculous. Now, the Blazers have had this tendency in recent years to hold on to guys a little bit too long. Think about Jeremy Grant. What is his value now, realistically speaking? There were reports last year that they could have got first for him. What's his value now? Next to nothing? But at the same time, I do think, Robert Williams, if he plays, he can be a really good backup center next to Klingon, and they really value his defense and his intangibles. we'd rather have that than 3 second rounders. He is under contract next year. Is he? Or no? Is he expiring? I'm pretty sure he's expiring. Will they trade us to Tumani Kamara? No. All right, yeah, he's got a year left at 13 mil. You don't necessarily have to trade him. San Antonio Spurs. Oh. I thought this was a Zion trade. Brandon Ingram for Daniel Tice. We already saw this one. That would be so interesting. The addition of Ingram would give San Antonio another building block to pair with Wembanyama. The Spurs have the future financial flexibility to sign Ingram to an extension after the trade or in free agency. What do we think about that? The Spurs would still have so many picks to play around with. Brandon Ingram and Zion. Devin Vassell, Brandon Ingram, Zion, Stephon Castle. Like that's kind of the Jeremy Sohan. Those are your guys moving forward. It's interesting. I do think it's interesting. It's more fun with Zion than Ingram. Zion would be sick. Boston Celtics, this will be a Jaden Springer for nothing trade. Oh my God, Tumani Kamara for Jaden Springer in a first. That's interesting. I hadn't paid too much. I hadn't given too much thought to the Celtics being like uber aggressive at the deadline. But it could be a possibility. I was honestly thinking more of like a Torrey Craig type player, if I'm being real. That would be horrible for Portland. Yeah, I don't really get why Portland would do this. The Cavs, Cody Martin straight up for Isaac Okoro. That's actually kind of interesting, to be honest with you, for both teams. I don't know how much of a drop off there is between Okoro and Cody Martin, if there is one at all. And it gets them under the salary, the tax, while the Hornets on the other end get like a pretty interesting young guy. That's really not that's a pretty interesting trade. Bones Highlands and cash considerations for a 2025 second. Sure. They know it's Cody Martin, not Caleb Martin, right? Yeah, but Cody Martin still has some value though. The Hornets, Cleveland gets Josh Okogie for Isaac Okoro. Interesting. Oh. Charlotte gets Chris Middleton and a 2031 first for Miles Bridges. That trade just feels icky to me. I really don't know if there's a team in the league that would trade for Miles Bridges. If the Bucks offer this, I think you take it 100%. 100% you take this. Toronto Raptors, Denver gets Chris Boucher, Toronto gets Zeke Naji, Conchar, and a 2031 first swap. Fuck you. This was the trade I was thinking about in my trade deadline predictions. Is Chris Boucher to the Nuggets for Zeke Naji and a first. Fuck off. If the Bucks offered that, you'd take it. If I'm Charlotte and the Bucks offered me Chris Middleton in a 2031 first, that's going to probably be a very valuable pick in a potential trade down the line for Miles Bridges. Yeah, why? Why? Why not? No, yeah, not definitely not straight up. No, definitely not straight up. The Jazz take on Zeke Naji's contract. for a right to swap first rounders in 2031. What do they have the Wizards doing? Do I even want to know? Washington gets Mitchell Robinson in a couple of seconds for Jonas. I don't know how I feel about that from the Knicks side of things. Yeah, I really don't like that much at all, to be honest with you. I mean, if you're the Wizards, sure. Yeah, sure. Kyle Kuzma. Kyle Kuzma for Chris Middleton and a pick swap in 2029. God, any Kyle Kuzma deal just feels gross. This would be quite the downgrade from some of the other Chris Middleton trades we've seen. Honest to God, and I know Chris Middleton looks a little slow. I really do think I'd still rather have Middleton than Kuzma, unless this is just a pure cost savings trade. Denver Nuggets, Conchar and cash considerations for Seth Curry. God. Is this trade deadline going to be boring as fuck? Kyle Kuzma for Chris Middleton and a protected first. That feels so gross to me, man. I just can't. The stench of Kyle Kuzma is so strong, man. The loser stench. What do they have for the Timberwolves? Do they have a Julius Randle trade here? Torrey Craig for Leonard Miller. God, this trade deadline is going to be so boring. Championship dreams, but shouldn't make a big swing. 76ers. Championship dreams? Yabu Sully for Jericho Sims in a couple of seconds. That one's pretty interesting. I'm going to be real. For the Knicks. The Houston Rockets. The temptation of the big swing. I wonder if he has them getting someone. Oh, Colin Sexton and Patty Mills for Jock Landale, Jay Sean Tate, and 4 future second rounders. Colin Sexton, huh? Interesting. Yeah, the Mavs trade was Exum for Javonte Green. Hadn't really thought about Colin Sexton potentially on the Rockets. He's got that dog in him. We know that. I don't know how much I love this one, though. Thunder, do they have the Thunder making a big trade? I've completely walked back the Thunder making a big trade. Oh, they've got them. I like it. They've got them pulling a Utah Jazz. And they've done this before, though. Connor, 13 months. Lost my cat to cancer on Friday. Your content helps. Oh, man. I'm very sad to hear that, man. No cat deserves that. Happy to help cheer you up. All cats go to heaven, at least. So in this trade, the Thunder get the 2031 Milwaukee first for 3 firsts, giving the Bucks a little bit more wiggle room to maneuver. Kind of interesting. Kind of interesting. I could definitely see that. What's your opinion on the Warriors jersey retirement they announced? Andre Iguodala's? Makes sense. He was there for their dynasty. Melbrick, 5 gifted subs. So they have insider intel, and all I'll say is eye emoji. Fredna has insider intel. Man alive. Save us all. Are you sponsored by Pantene Pro? I don't know what that is. Oh, shampoo and conditioner? Oh, yo, what the fuck? How do you know that's what I use? Encore, does Kelly Olynyk go to? Man, I don't give a shit. There, do you want me to say it? I don't give a shit. There, I said it. It feels good to get that off my chest. If you're listening to this on Spotify, leave a 5-star review. I love you. Oh, I didn't go over the 2016 trade deadline. The 2016 trade deadline was boring as shit. We'll go over the 2017 trade deadline tomorrow. 2016 trade deadline, Tobias Harris got traded to the Pistons. From the Magic to the Pistons. That's really about it. Channing Frye went to the Cavs. Markieff Morris went to the Wizards. Trying to think of some other trades that happened then. So when Nico was supposedly cooking up a trade in New Orleans last game, he was actually cooking up XM plus cash considerations for Javonte Green. I don't think he was cooking up a Herb Jones trade. I love my guy, Mavs Digest. I really do. You guys know we love Marcel over here. And I 100% believe somebody told Marcel that, and he didn't make it up. I just don't think that don't think that's what happened. I still love you, Kelly Olynyk guy. I saw the tweet. The Mavs, the Heat want cap space for Luka. It didn't say that they want Luka. It said they want cap space. The guy did clickbait. Said in the summer where Luka is available in free agency. I just hope can we get like a fun trade deadline? That's what I hope. That's what I hope. All right, let's count up the. Let's head over here. Let's count up what we got today. Let's count up what we got. Mike Hawk, 27 months in the Slightly Delusional Club. Shout out to you, Mike Hawk. We had 2 donations. That's 6 minutes off. We had 1, 6, 7, 8, 13, 14 members. Look at that. That's 14 minutes off. A total of 20 minutes off. So going into tomorrow, where we will stream tomorrow morning, slightly early, obviously, as well as the Mavs game, we will enter there with a scheduled start time of 11:52 a.m. Central Standard Time. Matt Wallace with the $1.99, 3 donations. Oh, my Lord, 3 donations. 9 minutes off. So we're now starting at 11:49 a.m. Central Standard Time. How about that? How about that? Doing well. Mark your calendars, folks. Thursday's the trade deadline prediction stream. Okay? You do not want to miss it. You understand me? You do not want to miss it. Do I need to make myself any more clear than that? Huh? Real Prey. Welcome to the Slightly Delusional Club. That's 15 new members. That's 15 minutes off. We're at 11:48 a.m. Central Standard Time. We're moving and grooving, folks. In 10 days, it'll be my anniversary of being a member. Hell yeah. Thoughts on guys named Tyler? Fine name. I don't think I have any friends anymore named Tyler unless I'm missing one. If so, I'm sorry. Off the top of my head. Had friends growing up named Tyler, though. Nothing wrong with Tyler. Nothing wrong with the Tyler. Nothing wrong at all. All right, thank you all for coming out. All of the OGs, guys know I love you very much. Could have spent your Tuesday morning anywhere in the world you decided to spend it here. New subscribers, I promise you guys will not regret it. Donations, members, thank you guys so much. You never have to do that, but it helps me out tremendously. It makes me feel so good. You guys enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. I'll talk to you all tomorrow, slightly early, 10:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. There's a lot to go over, man. It's that time of the year. There's constantly news, constantly stuff hitting the news desk here at Slightly Biased headquarters. Just so much to talk about. Love you guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. If you missed any bits of the stream, you can always check out the Slightly Biased Clips channel. I'll chat with you all later. Enjoy the rest of your day. I love you all. Bye.